Hi everyone, Deanna King here for those who don't know me, and this channel is All Talk Narcissism. Today I decided to talk about all that constant drama that narcissists are constantly creating and how they go about creating it, so stay tuned. I'll also talk a bit about what you can do at the end, and before we begin, as always, if any of my work resonates with you, please subscribe and click that like button. That like button is way more important than you might think. Okay, so that being said, we begin. The addictive nature of drama. If you've ever been close to a narcissist, you know that life around them rarely feels calm. There's always something happening, an argument, a misunderstanding, a crisis that demands your attention. It can feel like you're living inside a storm that never ends. But this chaos, it's not random. For narcissists, drama isn't an unfortunate byproduct of their personality here. It's the air they breathe. It gives them life, energy, and control. And understanding why narcissists love drama and how they create it is one of the most powerful steps towards freeing yourself from their emotional manipulation. I mean, are you done having ulcers here? So to see how this works, we need to look beneath the surface, beyond the charm, the confidence, or even the cruelty. And we need to understand what drives a narcissist at their core. Narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD, is characterized by a fragile sense of self, a deep need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. On the outside, narcissists, they appear confident, even superior, but beneath that exterior lies profound insecurity, a fear of being insignificant, overlooked, or powerless. To shield themselves from this unbearable truth, narcissists construct a false self, a carefully curated image of perfection, importance, and control. But this false self is fragile. It constantly needs to be reinforced. So drama becomes the perfect fuel to keep it alive. Drama creates attention, and attention, whether positive or negative, is what feeds the narcissist's ego. When they can't get attention, they're going to settle for fear, confusion, or outrage. Anything is better than being ignored. A healthy person seeks peace and stability because those conditions support growth, trust, and emotional safety. A narcissist, however, thrives in chaos. And why? Because chaos keeps everyone else off balance. When people are confused, reactive, or emotional, they become easier to control. Chaos also distracts from accountability. When everything is constantly in turmoil, no one can focus long enough to question the narcissist's behavior. I mean, think about it. If you try to hold them accountable, they'll deflect. You're too sensitive, you're imagining things, or you're the one causing problems. You're the problem. This pattern is deliberate, even if it isn't always conscious. They're so used to saying it, it comes out naturally now. Narcissists intuitively know how to create emotional instability, and they do it by using three key strategies: creating chaos, pitting people against each other, and controlling attention. Drama doesn't always begin as a huge argument. Often it starts subtly, a small insult disguised as a joke, a contradiction that doesn't make sense, a story that changes depending on who hears it. And these are the seeds of chaos. Narcissists, they're experts at creating chaos because confusion equals control. If you're unsure of what's true, you're more likely to look to them for answers. They might stir up emotional reactions by gaslighting, denying obvious facts, or rewriting history. They might provoke jealousy or insecurity by flirting with others and then accusing you of overreacting, and suddenly withdraw affection or approval, leaving you anxious and desperate to regain it. They might switch moods unpredictably, keeping you on edge, trying to fix whatever went wrong. These aren't all mishaps here. They are done intentionally. Each of these tactics destabilizes your emotional equilibrium. And the more emotional you become, the more powerful they feel. In relationships, this constant tension can make you feel addicted to the narcissist because your brain, it learns to equate their rare moments of affection with relief from anxiety. Back up the video and listen to this part again. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement, the same principle that makes gambling so addictive. You start chasing peace in a system designed to withhold it. Another hallmark of narcissistic drama is triangulation, manipulating relationships by involving third parties. Instead of resolving issues directly, narcissists, they draw in others to create jealousy, rivalry, or confusion. For example, they might tell one person what another supposedly said about them, or flatter someone else in front of you to provoke insecurity. They might compare you to others. Why can't you be more like them? Or claim they're just the victim of everyone else's misunderstanding. So by doing this, the narcissist positions themselves at the center of the drama, the one everyone's talking about, the one everyone reacts to. Triangulation, it keeps others divided and distracted. As long as people are busy fighting each other, they're not questioning the narcissist's motives or behavior. And this tactic, what it does is it provides a steady stream of narcissistic supply, the validation and emotional energy that they crave. Whether people are admiring them, defending them, or arguing about them, they're still focused on them. And for the narcissist, attention is currency. And triangulation is a way to make everyone pay up. At the heart of every narcissistic game is a simple truth. Control over attention equals control over emotion. Narcissists, they can't tolerate being irrelevant. They must be the main character, the hero, the victim, or the villain. As long as the spotlight is on them, they'll do anything to pull that spotlight back when it drifts away. They'll do things like start a fight right before an important event. Does that sound familiar? They might create a sudden crisis when you're focusing on someone else. They might accuse you of something outrageous to provoke a reaction. And when you react, defend yourself, argue, and cry, you are giving them exactly what they want, your energy. And over time, this dynamic, it can leave victims feeling drained, hypervigilant, and emotionally exhausted. You begin to live in reaction mode, constantly monitoring the narcissist's moods to avoid setting them off. This isn't love or loyalty, it's survival conditioning. And it's one of the hardest patterns to break because it convinces you that keeping the peace depends on your own behavior. It's survival mode. But the thing is peace is impossible with someone who feeds on chaos. You're not going to get peace. You'll get it for a minute. Victims of narcissistic drama often describe feeling like they've lost themselves. Their emotions, their opinions, and their boundaries, they gradually erode under constant manipulation. You might find yourself doubting your perception of reality, apologizing for things that you didn't do, or how about feeling anxious when things are too quiet because calm never lasts, or isolating yourself from friends or family to avoid conflict. This erosion of self is not accidental here. It's the narcissist's way of maintaining dominance. The less sure you are of yourself, the easier that you are to control. And victims also experience something known as cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort of holding two opposing beliefs. They love me and they hurt me. Or they hurt me, but it's not their fault because they were abused as children. Narcissists, they exploit this tension by offering intermittent kindness or remorse, keeping you hopeful that the real version of them, the one from the early love bombing stage, is going to return. But that version, it was never real. It was bait. Breaking free from a narcissist's drama cycle requires both insight and courage. It starts with understanding one essential truth, and that's radical acceptance here. You cannot fix them, and you cannot win the games. Every attempt to reason, explain, or defend yourself, it feeds the cycle. The only way to reclaim your peace is to step out of the game entirely. And here's how. First, you want to recognize the patterns. So keep watching videos like mine. The moment that you can name what's happening, gaslighting, triangulation, attention baiting, you begin to detach emotionally. Awareness is power. Next, stop feeding the drama. Don't explain, don't argue, don't chase. The narcissist's control weakens when you refuse to react. Silence, distance, and boundaries are their kryptonite. Next, firm boundaries and keep them. Expect pushback. Narcissists test limits, especially when they sense that they're losing control. But stay consistent. Every time you reinforce a boundary, you reclaim a piece of yourself. The next one is seek support. Healing from narcissistic abuse is not something that you have to do alone here. Therapy, support groups, and education can help you rebuild your sense of reality and self-worth. And if you're thinking that you don't have the funds, there's always Al-Anon meetings around every corner, and those really do help because they work on codependency. And then you want to rebuild your identity. That's really important. Over time, you want to reconnect with your own values, your interests, and your intuition. Remember what peace feels like and refuse to let anyone convince you it's boring or wrong. Go for walks. Get out of the environment that you're used to because there's always vibrational memories attached there. After leaving a narcissist, for those who do leave, many survivors say that peace feels strange, even uncomfortable. You might feel restless, suspicious, or empty. And that's because your nervous system has adapted to chaos. It's been conditioned to associate love with anxiety and attention with conflict. And this is not your fault. It's trauma adaptation. Healing means retraining your body and mind to trust calm again. It means learning that peace isn't the absence of excitement. It's the presence of safety. The narcissist's world runs on drama, but yours doesn't have to. So if you've left, give it some time. You'll start enjoying life again. Once you rediscover parts of yourself, and it's never too late, by the way, it can also help to remember that narcissists are trapped in their own loop here. Their need for drama isn't pleasure, it's compulsion. They're addicted to external validation because they can't self-soothe or regulate internally. In a sense, they're emotional scavengers, constantly searching for reactions to fill a void that can never be satisfied. But knowing this, it doesn't mean that you should pity them to your own detriment here. Compassion without boundaries becomes self-destruction. Did you hear that? Compassion without boundaries becomes self-destruction. You can understand their behavior without accepting it, and you can empathize without enabling. When you step out of the narcissist drama cycle, something powerful happens. They lose their script. Their manipulation depends on your participation. The moment that you stop reacting, you rewrite the story. You begin to operate from clarity, not confusion, from calm, not chaos. Reclaiming your power means that your peace is not negotiable. You aren't responsible for their emotions, their projections, or their crises here. You don't have to explain why you're changing or walking away. You've explained for years, and they chose to not open their hearts to listen. They didn't care how you felt. They love drama because it keeps them relevant, powerful, and emotionally fed. But for you, it's poison disguised as passion. Drama, it's not connection. And chaos, it's not love. When you choose peace, you're not being cold, you're being free. You're saying, I no longer exist to regulate your emotions. I exist to live mine. And that's the ultimate reversal of the narcissist's control. Not revenge, not exposure, but indifference. And I know that you're dealing with confusion. That's the cognitive dissonance. You see hope every time that they say something nice, like, it's you and me against the world, babe. It makes you feel as though you have a tribe. Because honestly, you've lost everybody else around you, right? It makes you feel that you belong somewhere, somehow. Especially for those who were scapegoated by families. And once again, Mr. or Miss Nice reverts back to the chaos, and you're back on those eggshells again. But what you can do is this. and it's really helpful, is I want you to write down every time that they've created some crazy dance again. Keep a journal, and every time they do something, go back to your journal and write it down again. And every once in a while, go back and read your journal, and you'll start to see the pattern clearly. That's why so many people realize how bad it was only after they've left, because they look back at the memories. So give yourself that space. So I hope today's talk has helped. And if there's anything that you want to share, your stories, your questions, leave it in the comments down below. Your voice, it's been stifled long enough by now. So speak your mind here, because it's safe here. And know that you are not alone. We are many. So that is all for today. Take care of yourselves. Go buy yourselves a journal and keep it somewhere safe, because they love to snoop. Until next time, bye for now.